did that? Because I'm going to have a class. I might want to do that.
Sure.
To mute
yeah.
everybody.
Oh, okay. So as a host, what I'm looking at when I see the grid view on every single screen, I have a button that says mute or unmute.
Okay. As the host, you see it differently.
As the host, I can see that. Yes. So I can see when your microphone turns on and off. Is everybody looking at me in grid view? Seeing everybody else? Yeah. This is good because this is good if you're hosting a meeting, if you're running a class, you want to be able to see all of your students. But yes, when I'm looking at that grid view, you see everyone's got their name on the bottom, which, by the way, let me change my name very quickly. I have a little mute unmute button alongside that I can mute and unmute everybody. So if I see like, hey, you know, Rose has raised her hand, then I can manually unmute Rose so that she can start talking. Or if she's having issues with anything, I may be able to do something with her video and audio. All right, so welcome everybody. Most of you know me by now, but my name is Melanie Martinez. I am the, I see you shaking your head, Marie, you shush. I am the executive assistant to the associate provost, Dr. Schreinemakers, and I am the go-to Zoom person in our time of crisis. So hi, welcome all, thanks for getting here. Has everybody at this point been able to review the Zoom, the little Zoom manual that I sent out for hosts? No, that's a no. I see a couple yeses, maybe, okay. So we're gonna look it over now all together, but this is what was sent out along with this meeting invite. And it's basically just a step-by-step on how to use the functions of Zoom for class instruction and for meetings, okay? So let's get cracking. Any questions so far about my name or occupation, which are the only things we've discussed so far? All right. So I'm going to share my screen with y'all, which I will show you how to do momentarily. But this is the document that was sent out to everybody, Zoom Conferencing Software 101 for hosts and instructors. You all should be looking at this now with a panel of about 4 videos on the side of your screen. If you hover over that, you can change that to 1 video or minimize it or change it into more than just 4 people. You should have options kind of here-ish in this area. Does everybody see that? Yeah? Okay. So we're going to start from the top. So downloading Zoom. Has everybody downloaded the Zoom software so far? Yeah, everyone's looking at this from the downloaded software and not their browser. Now, there's nothing wrong with the browser. It's just a little bit faster if you download this full software. Okay, so that's the basics of downloading Zoom. It's easy enough. Then we have starting a meeting. A lot of you have been asking about the enterprise account, the joint account that we're going to be getting. I have it on good authority that we should have it for the next 2 days. In case you need to teach either tomorrow or Friday, I have sent out, or very recently there was a document sent out on how to get a free Zoom account. Did everybody see this? No? Okay. So I'll read. Yes.
Melanie,
Yeah.
is this what you and I did earlier today?
That is exactly what you and I did earlier today. So you're covered, Gene.
I've downloaded the software.
Yes, you did. So you've got this down.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Abraham. I see you raising your hand. Hold on, wait. Let me unmute you. Go ahead. Oh, wait, no. There we go. Okay.
But for the free account, I read that you're limited to 4 people. I'm sorry, to 3 or more, you need a license.
No, what it is that with 3 or more, they limit your session to 40 minutes.
Right. Okay. Sorry. They limit your session. I have a 2-hour class.
Yes. So what you can do is you can set up a 40-minute block, maybe then have like a 5 or 10-minute break, and then set up another 40-minute block.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, we just got an announcement from Zoom through CUNY that they actually dropped that limitation. So
Great.
the 40 minutes is actually because of this situation, you know, that happened across the board. So they actually allowed the free version actually to be longer. I'm not sure how long, but the limitation of 40 minutes was dropped. This is what we heard this morning.
Amazing. Okay. So that should answer your question, Abraham.
Perfect.
All right. So in case of needing to download a Zoom account, this was sent out to everybody on how to download a free Zoom account. Do we want to review this now, or is this something that I can just send out for everybody? Can I get a show of hands, thumbs up, send out, or review? What are you guys thinking?
I'm fine. I don't need that.
Okay. All right. So I'll have this sent out to everybody, and then we'll move along to the other fun functions of Zoom. All right. So starting a meeting, username and password again should be provided soon. If not, you use your own personal username and password. When you get to the main Zoom screen, you'll know it's the main Zoom screen because you'll have these options here, right? You'll have the option to start a new meeting, schedule a meeting, join a meeting, or just basically share your screen.
Melanie,
So,
can
yeah.
I interrupt you 1 second? I have a question.
Yes.
So we're not going to get an SLU login to Zoom. We have to create our own account.
We will in the next 2 days. We will have one. If you need to host a Zoom meeting before the next 2 days.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, the free account is just like a contingency thing.
Got it. Okay. Thank you.
No worries.
So just
yes.
a quick question. So for a meeting that might be happening on Monday for more than 8 folks, there'll be a SLU will facilitate that.
Hopefully, yes.
Okay.
But the limit doesn't matter. Either on the free account or on the paid account, it's up to, I believe, 100 participants. So it was just the free account limits you to 40 minutes, and it doesn't give you a couple functions like polls or breakout rooms. But essentially, they're identical. So what SLU is doing is that we've purchased an enterprise account, which means that anybody who logs in with an slu.cuny.edu email address will have access to the full program package. So that's what we're hoping to get by the end of the week. Okay. So to start a new meeting, you click the new meeting button, which will be orange on your screen. And then you'll have the option to you'll go straight into a meeting. It'll just start a meeting right off the bat. In order to invite people to the meeting you just started, you'll be able to click the invite button right there. This screen will show up, and then you just copy your invitation and paste it into whatever email browser you have that you want to send your meeting out to. The invitation will look like the following, which all of you should have received. Something just like this, with your meeting ID, your code, and the phone number to join. Okay, so when you copy paste, it'll come out just like this. Eugene, I see you raising your hand. Give me 1 second, I will unmute you. Go ahead.
Yeah, so to contact the 8 students in my class, I'm at the point where I don't know when and how do I do that so that they get this invitation that you're talking about. Okay,
so for most of you guys, you'll schedule your meetings. You won't start a meeting right away. You'll schedule a meeting. So I'm going to show you how to do that right now, Jean. And when you hit schedule, when you hit this little fancy schedule button down here, it'll automatically create exactly that. It'll create that invite that you then go to your email address, email your students, and then just paste that right into your email. Does that answer your question?
It does.
Okay.
Melanie?
Yes.
It doesn't actually go straight to our, because some of the softwares, they have option of adding to calendar. So when you schedule this, it doesn't do that with Zoom?
It does for you as the host. So I'll show you right now in a minute all of these different options that you have. But if you see down here under calendar, when you set the calendar up for Outlook, Google Calendar, or other calendar, that's just your personal calendar. It'll put it on your calendar saying, hey, you're hosting a meeting at this time. To bring anybody else on board, you have to copy the link and send them the link. Okay? Cool.
Or maybe forward your Outlook, to other people.
Yes, you can do that as well.
Right.
Yes. But what the meeting invite that will show up in your Outlook will also have that information, the link, the 9-digit room code, and the phone number. Okay? So when you're scheduling a meeting, you have the option to name it. You can choose your time and your duration. If you want this to be a recurring meeting, it'll let you know, like, you recur this every day, every week. In this example that I provided with you guys, I don't put a recurring meeting, but it's really up to the professor's preference if they want to send out an individual meeting invite for every course or something that repeats weekly. Your meeting ID should generate automatically. And we're telling professors and people who are hosting meetings not to use a meeting password unless it's like a very highly confidential meeting. It's just one extra layer of encryption that people have to use, and sometimes it's an extra number, and some people don't know which is the meeting ID code and which is the password. So we're just unless you have like a very highly confidential meeting that you don't want anybody jumping in on, but even if someone does jump in on it, you can take them out, no problem. So no meeting passwords is what we're recommending. Yes, someone's unmuted. Do we have a comment or question? Ralph, is that you? Oh, okay. So we'll continue. For audio, we recommend putting telephone and computer audio. So in case any participants have any issues with their computer, they can still dial in. And then, like I just told Sarah, for the calendar, you can either have it Outlook, Google Calendar, Edit the Calendar, but this is for your own calendar. So not all of these are automatic options. Videos are like automatically set to off. I believe audio is automatically set to telephone. So when you do schedule your meetings, I would consult this guide and make sure that you have the right settings, or the recommended settings, I should say. Okay, this is just language explaining exactly what I just explained. The only additional factor that I recommend is under advanced options, mute participants on entry. That's kind of what I did with everybody in this meeting, so that if anybody comes in late, you don't automatically get their background noise. So it helps if you've got kids, if you've got dogs. You can automatically unmute yourself, but it's just a little bit easier for everybody who's currently in the meeting to have them muted when they come in. Once you click schedule on the bottom of your screen, once you click schedule at the bottom of that screen, it'll automatically create an invitation, just like the one I showed you here. And then you can copy that to clipboard and send it to everybody. Okay? So that is the basics of scheduling a meeting. I will now pause for questions. See, everybody got it? Yes, Maureen, go ahead. You have to unmute yourself. Over here.
That was my question. So you're in control of the mute, but the students can unmute themselves.
Yes, that's a setting that I'll show you how to do. If you don't want your students unmuting themselves, if you want the full power on turning their mics on and off, I can show you how to do that. But it is a little bit more administrative. Like, I have to keep an eye on to make sure all of this. So I can turn your audio on and off, but also you can turn your audio on and off.
That's right. Okay, thank you. You have to set that up.
Yes, it's automatically set. Thankfully, this is automatically set. So only if you want to take away that function, but I can show you where that setting is.
That's okay. I can figure it out. Thank you.
Well, I'm going to show you anyway. It's part of the instruction.
Great.
Okay. Any other questions? Yes, Abraham.
Melanie, are you going to show us how to have a document on the screen and also how to write on that document?
I am. Exactly like I've been doing. I will show you exactly how to do that. Okay. And I may even have you test it out yourself, because I think I gave you all share screen options. Don't press it now, but you should see the option in the middle around here for share screen. Yeah. Okay. So we will mess around with that in a minute. But any questions so far on scheduling a meeting, invitations? Orson, go ahead.
It's not a question about scheduling meetings. I just wanted to know if those set of instructions were available for people who use a Mac.
Okay, so almost everything is exactly the same on a Mac and a PC, except for how to download and get like the free account, because Macs and PCs download a little bit differently, but the software is essentially the same. You should be looking at exactly the same screens.
Okay. All right, thanks.
All right, any final questions before I move on? No? Awesome, onwards we go. All right. Oh, well, I guess one final thing in meetings, that you can see where your meetings will be under the meetings tab in your homepage. So when you come into the homepage with the 3 squares, that'll be your home, and you'll have chat and meetings, and that'll keep your schedule of all your upcoming meetings. And then from that screen, you can change them, you can edit them, you can copy the invitation if you need to add to more people, or you can delete it. All of that's optional from there. Okay, so testing audio and speakers. This is something this is a prompt you should have gotten when you logged into this account or when you accepted meeting for this, to test audio and speakers. It's always a good idea to do so to make sure that your Zoom software is connecting to your computer's hardware. So by doing that super easy, you just click the test speaker and test microphone and let it run, and hopefully it works. If not, if you have external speakers or if you're using a headset kind of like I am, then you can change under speakers and change under microphone where your audio is coming in and where your audio is coming out. We recommend that you do use a headset. As you can see, like I'm coming in a little bit clearer than anybody who has echo. The acoustics of different rooms are different. And just kind of out of politeness, it's really frustrating when you have somebody who doesn't sound like far or too great, and you turn your audio on, and then somebody who does have a headset speaks, and then you can't hear for 3 days. So out of politeness, if you could, and if you could tell your participants in your meetings to use a headset, it's preferred. And again, that's just headphones and a microphone. If you don't have one, do what you can when it comes to being as close as possible to your microphone to prevent any kind of audio issues. If you have any issues beyond connecting it to your Zoom, like if your Zoom seems to be working, but it's your computer's audio or hardware, Zoom has a couple guides on how to fix that, which I will be sending out to everybody. And if at any time during your regularly scheduled meeting, you have issues with your hardware, or sorry, with your speakers or microphone, you can just go to the settings button right here on your home page, and it'll open up exactly the same window that showed before with all of these fun different options. From the same page, you can check your video, you can check your share screen options, you can do some virtual backgrounds, which are really fun, and just for fun, I'll show you that at the end of class, et cetera, and so forth. All right. Onwards.
Jen?
Yes, Rose, go ahead.
This is just because when you're doing a meeting, it's good to know where people are. And so now that you're sharing screen with us, and I've got on my screen, what I see is almost the entire screen is taken up with the document that you're reviewing. And then off to the side are just now 4 of us. And I'm at the top, and then you, and then Abraham, and then Orson. Hey, Orson. Like, is that the way it is that the person, it's my computer, so I'm always going to be at the top, and then the host is always going to be second? Or is it totally random that that's on the side of the screen now?
Let's ask the class. What is everybody else seeing? It's yourself at the top and then the host on the bottom? Or is it just everybody who's speaking, and then whoever speaks kind of moves around?
Stays the same.
No, yes, I am at the top, and you did, the presenter is the second, and the rest is after that. That's the same thing.
And again, if you want to see more than just 4, roughly up here on that little window, you can change how many screens you're viewing. Okay. All right, we have a question in chat. There's an arrow that scrolls the thumbnails. That too, yes, thank you for pointing that out, Wayne. At the bottom of the 4, if you hover over it, there should be an arrow and it'll let you scroll through all of the videos. So this is useful as a host, whether you're a professor or you're holding a meeting. That helps to be able to see your class as like seeing their reactions, seeing how they're responding to the material. Yes, Shanna.
So, and although it says on the top that there's an option for 2, 4, and 6 people, there's also on the little corners of the window, you can drag the screen and extend it. So I'm currently looking at 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 people right now. And I'm on the top right and Melanie's on the top left, and then whoever talks, that the bottom people will change.
Thank you for letting us know, Shanna. All right, any other questions or questions, comments, things that you guys are discovering about the software as you mess around? Or shall we continue to running a meeting? Onwards we go then. All right, so running your meeting. So all of you should have a screen that looks similar to this, missing a couple addendums. And of course, the main screen is taken up by either like a video or a presentation. But as a host, this is what your screen looks like. So you all know the basics, the mute, unmute, the start video, the invite button should be roughly the same. Participants is new though. Even as a participant yourself, you should be able to click the participants button and you will get a list, or you should get something on the side of your screen that has a list of everybody who is in the meeting. So as a participant, I believe, if you click on the name of any person on that list, you have the option to send them a direct message. We'll talk a bit more when we get to chat. But as a host, if I click on anybody there, I have a couple more options. I can either ask them to start their video if they haven't started it yet. I can make them a host or make them a co-host, which means like I can transfer all of the functionality I have now to you, or I can share that functionality with someone else. This is useful like if you want to have a TA, or if you have an assistant, I'm looking at you, John and Michael, run like say the chat, or run the share screen while you're speaking and while you're doing different functionalities. So that's a useful thing to have as a host. You can also rename participants or remove them. If you remove a participant from the meeting though, be aware that they are canceled from the meeting. They will be kicked out and not allowed back in. I will pause for questions because I saw that Sarah had something to say.
You just mentioned that we can chat with the participant while you are a participant, or we can just chat with the group?
You can chat with, you can set the settings, and I'll talk about that when I get to chat, that the person can either not chat at all, they can chat only to you as the host, they can chat to everybody, or they can chat to everybody and each other in private.
In private, okay.
Yeah, so I'll show you how to do that.
Thank you.
No worries. Yes, so again, as host, if I open up the participants, I can see who has their volume and their video on. I can ask them to turn it on and off. At the bottom also, I have the mute all, unmute all, and more options. Mute all and unmute all are pretty self-explanatory, but if you do click more under that, I will be able to see I will be able to set certain parameters. So these 3 are automatically set, so you don't have to worry about these unless you want to change them. So mute participants on entry, allow them to mute themselves, and allow them to rename themselves. So this is just in case you want to change any of those factors, this is where you can find those settings. All right, so share screen, this is the real reason you all are here. So sharing screen, you click on the share screen button and you'll get a window that looks like this. If you have more than one application open, they'll all kind of be next to the main one, and you'll have to choose which one you want to use. You click it, and then what'll happen is you'll get your regular screen, but you'll get this little bar that runs over the top of the screen, right? It gives you the options for the mute and unmute, the start and stop video. You can manage your participants from there. If you want to change what you're sharing, let's say I'm sharing PowerPoint and I want to switch to sharing a PDF document, I can click New Share. I can pause sharing if I need to check something else out in the same program that I don't want anybody to see, and then I can resume. Annotate is all the fun stuff I'm doing now. If you click Annotate, you have a bunch of options. You can add text to the screen, move that around. You can draw in all kinds of shapes. You can point. You have stamps that you can add to what you need. You can erase any and all of this as well. You can change colors. You know, you have a lot of functionality, and it's a lot of stuff that you can play around with. You can also clear all. So I know you all didn't see what I was able to do with that, but I would like to, at this point, give everybody a turn, or anybody who wants to, give them a turn to share their own screen. So do I have a show of hands? I'll have to do it in order so we don't all do it at the same time. But does anybody want to test the share screen function with me right now very quickly? Abraham? Okay. So Abraham, hop on your hit the share screen button. So you'll see the little menu pop up with all the different options up there on drawing, stamps, text, all of that fun stuff. So also as host, if another participant is sharing what they're doing, if you have a guest or a student whose work you want to see, you can ask them to share screen, but then as the host, I have the functionality at any point to be like, stop the screen sharing, and then it'll just boot him out of that function. Okay, Abraham, if you could close it out and come back to the main session.
It is fun. He likes it.
Clearly he likes it. I'm like, he's like, if you'd be so kind.
I'm trying. I'm trying. Believe me, I'm trying.
It's a little stop button. It's just a little stop button on the top bar that says stop sharing.
Okay, it went from the bottom to the top.
There you go.
What's the tool for free writing? Because I picked a line and I just had a line. Is it the curled line?
The little curl one that says drawing.
So then I can just write on the screen, like, you know, I have to write formulas. I can just write on the screen.
Yes.
Great.
Awesome. Anybody else want to give that a shot since we're all here? Anyone? Bueller?
Another faculty, maybe.
Eugene, Jean, do you want to give that a shot? Wait, hold on. Let me unmute you. Go ahead. Oh, wait. No. Unmute. Jean, I can't seem to unmute you. Can you unmute yourself? Or sorry, over here. There we go. Now you're unmuted.
Okay, how do I get rid of your image in front of me?
You don't need to get rid of my image in front of you. You just have to click down here, the little share screen.
Share screen.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Then you can pick your screen to share.
Okay.
Okay, and then hit the share button.
Share button.
Should be a little blue button on the bottom right.
Whiteboard.
There you go. Now you can scribble, you can draw, you can use any of those functions. You can add text boxes. In the Tuesday night power and strategy class that we did the other day, we had students collectively fill out a graph. So as host, I volunteered and I just pulled up Word and typed in their responses as in Word as they supplied them. And they had a live feed of the Word updating. So they followed right along. It's a beautiful part. Go ahead.
How we can actually share the document. This is just a screen for writing, but you share your document on your screen.
Yes. Jean, if you want to cancel out real quick, you just hit the stop button, little stop share.
Okay, stop share.
Yeah. All right. Sarah, do you want to give it a shot? Hit the middle. Hit the share screen option down there.
Right. Oh, okay. And then I can actually choose the document that I have, right?
Correct, yes.
Okay. So for example, I'm doing this PowerPoint
Okay.
and then share.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I can actually now.
We're all looking at your PowerPoint.
Right. This one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that's good. And then when I want to come out, stop share.
Stop share, and now you're back to the grid.
But what did you do? What did you do to get that PowerPoint up there?
She just clicked share screen and then clicked on the PowerPoint. She had the PowerPoint open.
Open, right.
Any open windows that you currently have.
So, and then another thing, when you actually had this drawing page, so how did you get that?
That's the whiteboard.
Oh, whiteboard. Okay,
Mhm.
okay, I see that. So that is the whiteboard, and share, that is the whiteboard. Oh, that is fun. Okay.
Right?
All right, okay.
Okay. Any questions? No worries. Any further questions about sharing screens or the share screen functions? All right, I don't see any hands, so we're gonna move right along. All right, so that's sharing screen. So chat. So now I think most of you have been messaging in the chat, or I've got a couple messages through the chat. If you want to message the whole group, you can do that by clicking the everybody button, share to everybody. However, if you click on that button, you can see, because I've allowed peer-to-peer chat, you can you can message anybody in the meeting at this time. So I would like to do that real quick. So I'm gonna exit out of my sharing, and if everybody can send somebody else a message, just so you can get a feel for what that looks like. If you send somebody a direct message, they're automatically, the to button will save to that person. So just make sure that if you send someone a direct message and then you want to message everybody again, you should reset that to everybody. So this is turn on your, or open up your chat window, which should be roughly around here, this-ish area, and then a window will pop up to this side of the screen. I see all the smirking faces, so God knows what you're all sharing, but I hope you're enjoying it, and I'm having a good time. All right, so the other functionality of the chat that I wanted to discuss real brief is these little dots, the little more menu here. So if you click that, and ignore my extra arrows, if you click that, you'll have, as you were asking, Sarah, the options of who can chat with who. So it's automatically set to everybody publicly and privately, so you shouldn't have to change that. But in case you only want them to talk publicly, so like if they put something in the chat, it has to be for everybody. Or if you want them only to communicate with you as the professor, or just disable the chat entirely. Those are all options you have from that little dot, dot, dot menu in the chat. Does that answer your question? Yes?
Yes, yes.
Okay, okay. So any questions about the chat? Nope.
I was busy doing that. That was great.
Okay, great, great. Anybody else? Any other questions about the chat for the moment, or do we want to move on to the next function? Yeah. All right. You'll also see that on the bottom left of your screen, you should have a little option with like a little face with a little plus. If you click that, it'll give you the option to send a little thumbs up or a little clap sign. So this is also useful to make sure like who's participating. If you can't watch the videos exactly, you can have the little thumbs up and the little clap sign. So can everybody give me a real quick thumbs up? All right. Thank you. Thank you all. Okay. So moving right along to recordings. So Zoom gives you the option to record your class, your course, or your meeting. So that option should be right around here. If you are a participant, you can hit record and it'll ask the host to give you permissions to record. It'll record to your own computer. But as a host, in case you want to keep your meetings for posterity, you can hit record on your meetings, and you can set where those recordings go and what they do from your settings menu, which I believe I showed you how to access on the home screen. So under the recordings tab, you'll see something that looks like this. And what it'll do is under recordings, it'll give you what location you want to record it on. We are recommending professors record to their desktop if they are recording. You can also save it to the cloud, but it might be harder to find. If you save it directly to your desktop, it will create a folder that says Zoom, and it will keep all of your video recordings there. At that point, you can share them with your professor, with your other professors. You can keep them for yourself. You can review them, all of that fun stuff. Zoom records the active speaker window. Oh, Yolanda, I'm checking the chat. How do we disable the chat? You disable the chat. You can't do this as a participant, but as a host, those 3 little buttons on the side of the screen. That's how you disable the chat. You can put participants can chat with, and you put no one. And then the chat is disabled for all of them. They won't even have the option that says chat. It'll look like this. I believe I've taken it away from all of you now. It's vanished, it's gone. I'll give it back to you because I love you. Okay, Yolanda, does that answer your question? Was that a yes? Yeah, okay. All right, onwards. So that's recording. That's basics of recording. Always be polite, let people know that you're recording the session in case they don't want to have their audio or their video on. I'm letting you know now that I am recording the session for other faculty and staff. So here's the fun part. So Zoom has a great function called Breakout Rooms that lets you break a larger group up into smaller groups, whether this is for group projects, whether this is just for like mini powwows within a larger meeting. You don't have this function as a free account and as a participant, but right around where you see that smiley face with the plus sign, the reactions, right to the right of that is where your breakout room option would be. So when you click breakout rooms, it tells you how many participants are in the room, and then depending on how many rooms you want to have, it'll tell you how many participants will be broken up into those rooms, and then you can hit create breakout rooms and it'll send everybody to the rooms. I'm sorry, no, it won't send everybody to the rooms. It'll send you to a window that looks like this. It'll say breakout rooms not started. You can you can rename your breakout rooms. You can assign certain people to breakout rooms, and you can see who's already been assigned. You can check your options here. These are preset, allow participants to return at any time, and countdown is 60 seconds. If you want to change any of those options, you can. If you want to like step away from your computer while your breakout rooms are chatting, you can set a pre-timer that says breakout rooms will automatically close in 10, 15, 30 minutes, however many minutes you want. And then at the end of that time, everybody will come back into the main session. So then once you've got all of that set, once you've got everybody where you want them, you can hit open all rooms. You'll receive a notice as the host that says all participants have been assigned to breakout rooms. And then students or participants will receive a notice that says, hey, you've been invited to join a breakout room. So I am going to do exactly that right now. So everybody gets a feel for what that's like. So we've got 22 participants. I'm going to put you all in 7 rooms, let's say hypothetically, a couple rooms of 4, a couple rooms of 3. I'm going to set a countdown timer for 60 seconds, but I'm not going to close the rooms. And then I'm going to open all rooms, and what I'll do, let's give this about like 5-10 minutes. I'm going to let you all converse in your own little rooms. I'll be popping in and out as the host to see how everyone's doing, if anybody has any questions that they want to ask me in small groups. And we'll see how we feel about that afterwards, and I'll continue to take questions. All right, here we go. Sassy Sasson, you have not joined your breakout room. There we go. Hello, how are my folks in breakout room 1?
Good. I think
Doing
it's
well, getting acquainted.
Good, good. Did you have a question, Abraham?
well, is Sassy Sassoon your name, or is that your nom de plume? And how do I change my name to have a fancy name like that? I can't hear you.
Oh yeah, your audio doesn't seem to be working. Yeah, because you're unmuted, but your audio is not working. That's something you should check in your settings to see if your audio and video, your microphone and your speakers are working. To answer your question, Abraham, you go to where it says participants at the bottom of your screen, click over your own name and you hit rename.
Oh.
Okay. So while you all have fun doing that, I'm going to go pop in on everybody else.
Okay, great.
This morning. Hey, that
How
is
are my
so
folks in
good.
breakout room 2?
This
So
is
how's
nice.
it going?
Going good. Any questions for me specifically while I'm here before I continue to pop around?
So
That is
you as the meeting coordinator are the only one that can do this function, but you can jump into any room at any time and
Correct.
and time. Could you time the room? Could the people in the rooms know if there's 10 minutes or?
Yes. There is an
Oh, okay.
option to broadcast message to all, which I will do in a minute, so you can see what it pops up. It should pop up kind of in the middle center of your screen.
Okay.
Letting you know that, hey, you know, this is your host is broadcasting a message to everybody.
Excellent.
All right. I'll be right back.
Awesome.
See you
All right.
later.
Bye.
Right.
Hi, Breakout Room 3.
Hello.
How's everyone doing? Everyone having a good time?
I'm starving, okay? I'm dying of hunger.
Yolanda, did I answer all your questions regarding the chat?
Yeah.
All right. Do you have any other questions for me? Anybody? No?
Oh,
All
I
right.
have a question. So I had scheduled a Zoom meeting with the chairs, and I had clicked advanced settings just to see what they had. I saw one of the options were to have a waiting room.
Yes. That I think for you, that would benefit for you. I'm telling people not to if they don't have a lot of like tech savvy or administration. That just requires that you see a little waiting room and you have to click and approve everybody as they come in.
Okay.
Yeah. So like I use that sometimes when I don't want IT in a meeting. Well, I'll be like, oh, if they're in the waiting room, they can stay in the waiting room. You know, stuff like that. All right. So I'm going to pop out and I will bring everybody back in a couple minutes.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't know if
Hi,
Melanie.
everybody in breakout room 4.
Yes, well, Kenya still she's MIA.
Oh, okay. Is
Yeah.
there?
What? Oh yeah, she's there. She's there.
Hi.
Kenya.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
she remuted herself. She can mute and unmute herself. But yeah, she's there. She's here.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Any specific questions for me while you've got me here?
Go ahead, Jean.
Yes, I do.
All right.
Just a sense of your Melanie, I'm going to be completely blunt with you. I'm lost.
Okay.
LOST, lost.
Okay. All right.
And
would you like to stay on after the meeting and you and I can talk one-on-one and I can guide you a little bit slower? I know I'm going a bit fast.
Yeah, I mean, what I'm going to, if I'm going to end up setting this up and using it, I'm going to need help doing that, like you helped me this morning.
Absolutely. So you know what? Once the meeting's over, when I like sign everybody off, stick around a little bit longer, and you and I can talk through it. Okay?
All right, we'll talk about it. Okay.
All right.
Melanie, let me ask
Thank
you
you.
a question.
No worries.
Is
Yes.
Is it possible to set out meetings for other people? If you are not the main person, if you don't want to be the host, but you want to help out somebody being the host,
Yes.
is it possible to do that?
Yes. You can just make them the host.
Okay.
Or they can make you the host.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you have to be online. So can you set it up, somebody for a class and everybody is in the class already and you can just hide yourself and just go and do your own thing, or?
Technically, yeah. You absolutely could, yeah.
Okay.
Certain things like functionality, like break rooms and stuff like that, you need a host to maneuver. But if you just want to set everybody in a room and let them talk to each other, you absolutely can do that.
Okay. Interesting.
Okay. So I'm gonna pop out into the other rooms and I will bring everybody back in a couple minutes. Okay. This is the party room. I was get to you guys. Hello.
You got the fun group of the fun bunch.
Does anyone have any questions for me? Well, I'm here.
Thank you. Great job, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh, no worries. Doing my best. Doing my best.
Yeah, I do want to commend you, Melanie. You're really doing a fantastic job, especially considering you're not employed by IT. You're really doing a very, very good job. So kudos to you. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. I've shared my Zoom guides now with RIT, SVA, and crap, I don't remember the third one, but like friends in other schools have been like, we're switching to Zoom. Good. I don't know what to do. I'm like, I spent 4 days writing this 20-page guide. You can have it.
Awesome.
That's fantastic.
All right. Rose, I can't. Go ahead.
Hello.
Now I can hear you.
That there have been students lately that have needed some help and I had to call them. So I was thinking, instead of using myself, I could have just invited them to talk to me on Zoom meeting, but then we were talking about download and would they want to do that, but I guess it's just an option to give to students.
And you can send them the participants guide that was sent out, which they don't need to know about all of the fancy stuff that I've been talking about. They just need to know the basics of being in a meeting like you guys are.
That's great. That's perfect for you, Rose. That's perfect.
All right, I'm going to pop out, and I'll bring everybody back in a couple minutes.
Melanie, you're going to notify us when the license is all ready for
Yes,
us?
yes.
And
everybody will get information on that.
And do you have any idea of what credentials we'd be using would be our SLU email?
SLU email, that's all you would need.
Okay, not CUNY first, right? Because
no, SLU. Okay?
All right, thank you.
Right. See you in a minute. Hello, welcome, Breakout Room 6. How's everyone doing?
Doing pretty good, not too bad.
Yeah, I see that you're on the bridge, which is very nice.
My secret identity is the Flash. Just don't tell anybody, please.
Love it. Is Ralph with us, or is he just showing us his trick?
So he's on the bus. He hears and he sees.
Okay. And Orson, any questions for me?
He was here a couple minutes ago.
Okay. So y'all are good. You got this, right? You don't need.
Good.
I was like, this does not need my help.
No. So, nah, we're pretty good.
All right, I'll hop out and bring everybody back in a minute.
Hi, Melanie.
How are you guys doing?
Oh, there you are.
We're doing well. We have a question for you.
That's what I'm here for. How can I help?
When you said that we could send messages to the other breakout groups, is that only as a host?
Only as a host, yes.
But I got it.
So but you can chat within your own breakout room.
Got it. But we can't communicate with the other breakout groups.
Correct.
I mean, unless we all get out of the breakout rooms.
Correct. Yes.
Got it.
And can you, if you break out rooms in a classroom, can you give everybody the same document easily without trouble? In other words,
typically,
if they would, they're trying to talk about a document, having a discussion about a document, and it's the same document for all the groups. Yeah.
I would send it to them before they break out. So either send it to like their email if you have like a joint drive that they can access it from. That would be better. But yes. Okay, so I'm gonna bring everybody back into the main session now.
Okay, we're back.
And I'm back, yeah. Still got a couple of people, slowly but surely.
So Melanie, I just want to make a funny comment.
Yes.
I'm cracking up because this reminds me of the Brady Bunch.
That's so true.
Brady Bunch like theme music, like dun 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 dun.
Here's a story of a virus named Corona. All right, let me see who's missing. We got 2 seconds and then everyone's gonna be brought back. All right. So any comments, questions, anything that you discovered about the breakout room experience that you feel we all should know? Anything along those lines?
I liked hanging out with those 2 people. But that's not what you're asking, I know.
That's not necessarily what I'm asking.
It was fun.
All right, so a couple things. That message that I sent out to everybody, that I can only do as a host. I can send that out and it'll show up at the top of everybody's meeting or everybody's breakout room. If you're in a breakout room and you choose to use the chat function, you can only chat with people in your breakout room. So if you want to come back to the main session, you can leave the main session at any time, which should have been an option at the bottom corner of your screen. That'll put you back in this main room, this like main lobby. Sometimes with the host, sometimes you may be by yourself, but you'll be here. Ralph raised his hand. What's up, Ralph?
If a professor is recording the session and then they do breakout rooms, what does that look like to the professor?
To the professor, well, I can show you. I took some screen caps when I attempted this on Monday with the faculty session, so I can show you what this whole thing looked like from my point of view. But as far as the recording goes, I believe it continues to record the host's video.
Okay.
Yeah. So like if I pop into a breakout room and other people speak in that breakout room, like it'll record who's speaking in those breakout rooms. Otherwise, I think it'll just record my face.
So it follows the host?
It follows the host, typically.
Oh, okay, thank you.
No worries. Any other questions? Maureen?
When I chat, I want to send a chat to Marie. Hi, Marie. And I typed it, but I don't know how to send it. Do I just hit
enter?
Chat?
Yeah.
Hit enter. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Type your message and hit enter, and it'll send it.
Got you. Thank you.
No worries. To answer your question, Yolanda, you can share screens within the breakout room. Like you'll still have the share screen option, and you can share it with the other participants within that room. Any other questions? Nope. Okay. So I will share with you very quickly some very, very high-tech screenshots I took of Monday's meeting. So you can see from my end, when I open the breakout rooms, I have a window, my little window comes up, and instead of not opened, it says in progress. So then as people join, the little buttons turn green so I can see who's in a room. And then if they haven't joined, I have a little notification that, oh, this person has not joined. All right. So then once the rooms are opened, let me get my other screenshots. Please disregard that I called them Zerm. Then once everyone's in the room, you'll see that they all say, they all have the little green dots on them. And then if I want to join a room, I just click the little join option right next to it. And then I hit yes. After that, you can see that this is my view of the breakout room. So it's same, you have the share screen option, you have the chat, you have the pause, stop recording, and your other breakout room functions. Once I've finished, and I say leave breakout room, I have the little sign that says returning to main session. This will happen to you at any point that you leave a breakout room. You'll get this little pop-out window that says, hey, we're headed on back. And then once we are finished and I'm back to the main session waiting, you can see who's still in, who's not, and then I will have this indicator of how much time everybody has to get back to the main session. So that's what breakout rooms looks like from the end of the host, okay? And then I believe that is the end of my training. Let me double check my document. That is indeed the end of the training. So yes, Irene, go ahead. Unmute yourself.
Yes. Hi, thank you. This was very interesting. I was wondering, what's the difference with the Teams in the Microsoft Teams version of this? Is this just a duplication of systems? Is this system better? Should we choose this one instead of Microsoft Teams?
Well, I don't know Microsoft Teams too well. You'll have me as support on this regardless. I've been using the Zoom conferencing software this entire semester as part of the Power and Strategy course on Tuesday nights. So I'm very, very familiar with it. If you want to use Google Teams, you can, but you probably won't get any, at least SLU support, because I don't know anybody else who knows the software. We're using this because we've been using it for Power and Strategy, and I'm pretty familiar with it, and I can help out with any questions or comments asked.
So Melanie?
Yes.
Teams is a Microsoft product, and it is part of the Office 365 suite.
Okay.
Everyone, we've kind of made the move to kind of shift our communications with our respective staff or team to that platform.
Okay.
This is a lot more intuitive though, as far as, so Teams has a conferencing feature. You can do direct messaging, and you could also have like group messaging with teams that you create.
Nice.
But this is a lot more intuitive, and I think like for the academic side, file share and sharing your screen and things like that. Teams doesn't have that built into the.
Oh, it does. I did that. We start actually using Microsoft Teams, and for the first time with 8 people, we did that yesterday. Yes, we could share them.
I'm sorry, I misspoke.
Yeah.
It has file share, but it doesn't have the like the way Melanie was showing how you can kind of live edit something or circle things or highlight. It doesn't have all of that, and you can't do breakouts. This has a little bit more functionality than Teams.
Yeah.
Right.
I think it's personal preference, Irene, honestly. Like, I'm not going to tell you not to use Google Teams or Microsoft Teams. Is that what it is? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to tell you not to use it, but like, I'm here if you need help with Zoom. Okay. Any other questions? I have like a couple final notes. Yeah. Okay. So something to note is if you have a group of more than 25, the same way we're all in grid view, if you have a class of more than 25 students, you'll have arrows on the left and right of the grid that will let you shift between screens to get everybody on view. I believe the limit is 25 per view. I'm sending out, when I send out the recording of this video, it will include 2 links. One is Zoom's like how to test your own like hardware, microphone and speaker, in the case that it's not a Zoom issue, but like your computer issue. And another one that Zoom recently put out, specifically using Zoom for education, which covers a lot of what I talked about, but if you want a little bit more depth or you want to go a little bit farther, you can do that. A fun functionality that this has is that if you go to your video settings and you hit the little up arrow, you can choose a virtual background, as John has been doing for the duration of this meeting.
He's been having a ball with the backgrounds, everything.
But yeah, like I can go to the beach, and now I'm at the beach, and I'll be at the beach for the remainder of this meeting. But that's just something you can play around with. You can upload your own video and your own photos.
Melanie, I'm glad you mentioned that because he was about to get written up so fast for that.
No. Melanie, how you can do this? How did you do that?
I know, right?
On the bottom right of your screen where you have start, stop video, there should be a little arrow next to video. If you click there, one of the options is virtual background. Choose virtual background.
Video says choose virtual.
And then you have a couple options there. And if you hit the little plus, you can add whatever video or audio, video or photo you want as well.
So I don't have anything.
Advantage of this. I don't have any pictures made available.
I don't have any pictures. I don't have any pictures.
You don't have any pictures made available? Okay, then you'll have to add. You can add some. Like that's the place to do it.
These feels great to be here.
Shut up, John.
John, now how did you do that?
So I'm doing it on my phone. So at the bottom, I'm seeing it on the right side of the screen where it says more. It's like 3 dots. You click that, and it's like the 4th option right below minimize meeting.
Right, because I went to
I don't think there's any reason we need backdrops.
Yeah, John, this is just for fun. This is 100% for fun.
It complements the aesthetic.
Yeah.
All right, and then I have one final note before I let you all go, which is I know that video conferencing and video communicating can sometimes feel very impersonal for people. So a recommendation that I have that I've learned from like podcasters and YouTubes is if you put a photograph on or around where your video camera is, because it's one thing, like I want to look at all of your faces, but if I'm looking at all of your faces, it doesn't look like I'm looking at the camera. So if I have, you can't see it, but I have a photo behind where my actual video camera is, so then I can kind of train myself to talk to the photo. And it looks like I'm looking directly at the camera, and it looks like I'm talking to all of you. So that's just like a little personal tip that I've come across as a way to kind of bridge the gap with this technology. So that concludes my training. Give me a thumbs up or a little applause if you enjoyed it. I'm gonna give myself a thumbs up.
I did have one question because I see that Wayne had sent a chat saying that he read there's a function in which the host can tell if guests are multitasking rather than just paying attention to the meeting. Is this true?
I wasn't sure if that was for Zoom or for Google or for Microsoft Hangouts, because that's not a functionality that I have discovered in Zoom or this functionality that I've really tested in
Google's
Zoom.
Hangouts.
Oh, it's with Google Hangouts.
Microsoft Teams.
Oh, he was talking about Zoom.
Oh, he was talking about Zoom.
Yeah.
Okay. If that is a function, that's news to me. That's something I can research and I can send out in a future notification if any of you feel that might be useful to you.
I guess in the sense of, if you don't think someone's paying attention to your thing, if you know they're multitasking, I guess then maybe it would be useful, right?
That's true. That's true. Okay, well, that's all I have for you now. If you are attending the Blackboard training with Craftins, that's starting about now. So if you want to hop on over to that, you guys know how to reach me by email, and I believe my Google Voice phone number for these, my work phone number has been broadcast to all. So thank you again for joining, everybody, and
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Great time. Stay safe, stay sane.
Thank you, Melanie. That was terrific.
Thanks, Melanie.
No
Take
worries.
care of yourself, everybody.
Thank you. Great job.
Bye.
Hang on, Melanie.
Bye, everybody.
Jean, you stick around. Everybody else is going.
For a couple minutes.
Gene's staying with me real quick because he has a couple additional questions, but everybody else can go. So unless you have a couple additional questions.
No.
Family.
Okay.
All right, and then who is Cumberbatch family? I believe you came in near the end of the meeting. Is that correct? Can you hear me?
This is Gene. I can hear you.
Yeah, there's somebody else on the meeting. Let me see. Hello? Hello, can you hear me? Hello?
Hello?
Hi, yes. How are you?
I'm good.
Good. Can you turn your video on so we can see you? Jean, hang tight 1 minute. Let me see who this is. Because
Okay.
you came in late to the meeting, correct?
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Candace, I'll call you back. Yeah, hello, you see me?
Hello? I can't see you,
me?
June.
Huh?
I can't see you. I can only hear you.
But I turned it.
Did you turn your video on? There should be an option here that says start stop video.
Stop. It's on.
There we are. I see you now. I see your forehead now. You want to move that down?
Okay, I'll grow some height because I'm sitting low. Yeah.
All right, June. Hello. Welcome to the training. You came at the right time because I'm about to take Jean on a very step-by-step trip of everything.
Okay.
Okay, Jean, you can unmute yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Where would you like to start? Or where can I be most helpful?
Hang on a second.
Okay.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.